So Tracy, where are you from?
I live in Republic, Missouri, which is just outside of Springfield.
Oh, cool. So you have been telling me that you do some really interesting work. What is it that you do?
I do channeled healings. So I would ask you for a couple sentences about something you want healed, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual. And then give me about 12 to 24 hours and I will respond. And what I do during that time is I will envision your body between my hands, similar to remote healing for Reiki. And I'll see your body, and I might see an image or a something that's drawing its attention. So it's raising its hand, telling me I need the work. So then I'll look at that. Then I get a message from spirit about what it is that the body's telling me and how to eliminate or alleviate or heal what's going on in the body.
Wow. So that's kind of like what Edgar Casey, um, in his trance
Right.
state, kind of had a remedy for it. But you do massage.
Yes, and I also do this during my massage session.
So okay, let's say I went to you for a massage.
Okay.
I had no idea that this is what you do.
I would give you a little intro to it before we start the session.
Okay.
And then I would let you know that I might get images, I might get some questions to ask you, I might get some comments to share with you, and I will share those during the session.
Wow.
Because if I wait until after, then it's too late. The healing's opportunity's already passed by.
So do you put yourself in a trance before, or is that just naturally?
It's just natural. There's no trance. I know when something's coming through because I'll kind of do this. My body kind of straightens up, and I know that messages are coming in. And I start with my hands on your head, similar to giving darshan, which is a blessing, a divine blessing. And so I'll start with that, and I'll get the image of the body. I might see something down the body, in the head, around the shoulders. And I might make some comments there, or it might not be that clear yet.
Yeah.
And the message will become more clear as I work farther into the body.
So what's been like the wildest one that you've gotten? Do you remember any that are like really?
I saw a snake in someone's body.
Really?
I knew that somebody got speared in a past life in their knee. So these injuries come with the body,
right,
to be healed. And so I'm able, if the body's willing and the client is willing, these things will come to the surface to be healed.
So how do you heal, for example, the snake?
I see what it is. I also use, so then I have some crystals. You'll be holding crystals during the session. Okay. Left hand for receiving, right hand for giving. And so you get energies from the crystals. And then when you're face down, I'll finish with, I have a crystal wand that I use, and then an ankh. So I'll take out something and I'll put back in new energy, because the ankh represents reproduction.
So I have a device here, which I haven't used much, as you could see. It's got a little
buddy on there.
A little buddy, which is the Deems device. Have you heard of that?
No. I mean, I have, but I haven't recently.
So that kind of looks like an ankh.
How do you use it?
That's a good question. That's why I'm giving it to you to see what do you get from it.
Right now, it feels like it wants to be an anchoring device to anchor new energies into specific areas on the body, areas on the land, areas in the house.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a receptor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got that. I have so many devices that I've been acquiring. Don't know why I acquire them. They just kind of all of a sudden say, okay, use me. And it's used over the body. It's magnetic, super magnetic.
It feels more like a receiver than a giver, because it feels uncomfortable in my right hand. It doesn't have the right physical balance. It's not like it's out of balance this way, but it feels more cohesive coming into my body.
So it's a receiver. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so, yeah, you put the little crystals on it, and you can, I guess, direct energy with it.
See, coming down, bringing it in.
Interesting.
Very cool. That's fun.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So it's directed
Yeah,
at the person.
yeah. There you go.
So you feel like that's a receiving device. It's going to
Mhm.
be bringing something into the person.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's something the person should hold rather than something you hold to give. You know
Interesting.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not for this to go over their body.
So it's something they should hold in their hand somehow,
In their left hand.
in their left hand.
Do you feel the difference in your left hand versus your right hand?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what it is, but
Which one feels better?
this one feels better. It feels lighter. This one
Mhm.
feels heavier.
Yeah. And so it's not to say that it shouldn't be in the right hand, but right now the message is that, hey, I'm a receiver. Put me in the left hand first. And then as you get more comfortable with working with my energy, I can go to the right hand. And
Interesting.
it's got a different modality.
Interesting. So I interrupted you, but that's my ADD thing, you know.
That's all right.
It's like, ooh, I have shiny things here. Something shiny. So let's talk about the massage. How did you get into that?
I was finishing up some other activities that I knew I was complete with, and I watched a show on TV, and this Olympic athlete decided to take massage therapy to learn more about his body so he knew what the doctors were telling him when it came time to do different things. He was a sprinter. I don't remember his name. Anyway, I went to bed that night, looked on my phone for massage therapy near me. It just so happened there was a school in Springfield, Wellspring School of Allied Health.
Wow.
That was a Wednesday night. Thursday, I called them, set up a tour on Monday, signed up on Tuesday.
Now you're an athlete too.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of athletics were you into?
Track and gymnastics. And I still like to run. So not a lot. I'm kind of a fair weather runner, but yeah.
Did you do any running while you were here?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. But I'll give the body a rest. I'm here to rest, not to
Good, good. So you got into that. How long did it take you to get through the school?
11 months is the program, but with COVID hitting at the end, it was about 12 months. So.
Okay. And then did you know that you had this ability?
No, not to this degree.
So
I
how
knew
did that
I
happen?
had healing hands, and I've been trained in Reiki. So during this time, I became a Reiki master. So I know how to use that energy in the massage. But then the channeling just kind of came naturally. I didn't really know that is what was happening. And then working with some other friend of mine, we got to the bottom of it all.
So did it just start like happening where you were massaging someone and all of a sudden it's like, I got to tell you something?
Mm-hmm. I would get these messages like, I see you on the edge of a cliff. Not like you're going to jump, but she says, that's appropriate. And so these different comments that I make, that's appropriate. That makes sense. I know what that means.
Wow.
Because I'm not looking for conversation for them to answer. It's just, this is what I see, and we're going to move through this.
Wow. You know, I had the opposite thing happen to me. I went to a massage therapist, and this was someone I knew, and she had a beautiful setup in her home. And I went into some weird trance, deep trance. And all of a sudden, I was in ancient China.
Wow.
Ancient, like way back. And I was with this Chinaman who was some sort of, he apparently was the spirit or the guide of my massage therapist.
Wow.
And he it was so wild. He introduced himself and he says he was talking about, the technique and he was telling me, I'm going to give you some messages to tell her. I said, but first I want to show you around.
Okay.
And he took me inside his home and he introduced me to his wife and his two children. This is so weird. I hadn't remembered this in a long time. And then he took me out to his garden and he says, I grow all of the herbs that I use in my healing in my garden.
Hmm.
And we started like walking out of his garden, and he says, as you see, everyone here has their own garden and everyone grows what they need in their, and it was in front of the house.
Mhm.
And they grow what they need in their garden. Everybody has the herbs and
Yeah.
the supplements that they need for their family. And then he started giving me messages about her. And I asked him, I can't remember what color he was wearing, but he was wearing a special color, very bright color. I don't know if it was yellow or red. It was very bright compared to everybody else.
Mhm.
And I said, what does that color signify? Because you're the only one wearing that color. He goes, this just tells people who I am.
Okay.
You know, that he was, you know, a sage, or he was
Yeah.
he was a very important rank as
Mhm.
far as a healer.
Like a robe of distinction.
Yes. And it wasn't like a robe. It was like the Chinese
Yeah,
wear. It's like the
yeah.
jacket, but you know, and so I was in this deep, deep trance, and I think I went into something else. And then when I woke up, and he gave me messages, and he kept repeating the same message over and over
Mhm.
again, so I wouldn't forget. Be sure to tell her this is where she needs to do. This is what she needs to do. And then when she was done, I was like in a daze, and I said to her, "Your your guide just showed me his family. I met his family. I went to his house, and he wants to tell you this." She didn't know what to do, you know.
Yeah.
But that was like the opposite
Yeah.
of that. And I said, I don't know if I really want to do this every time I get massage. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool, but
Yeah.
it was so clear to me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we were having this really very interesting conversation back and forth. The kids were running around,
Yeah.
Very respectful. But
Mhm.
so is this the kind of stuff that you see? I mean,
Yeah. Sometimes it's images, sometimes it's just messages, and I'll just start talking
wow.
because I won't always remember it if I wait until the end.
So what happens once you're done with this session? Because you're telling them this. Are they in they're
No.
they're relaxed,
They're relaxed,
and you're just
doing just like a normal massage session. But there's just information that comes through specific for them.
wow. Do you charge differently for different types of sessions?
Right now, there's just a relaxation massage that I don't really go into
Okay.
all of that detail.
That's what I was
You just get
asking.
the massage. And then there's what I call the portal massage, which is you get all of it. Mhm.
So do most people go to the portal?
Yes.
They do. So that's the
Yes.
kind of people you're attracting.
Yeah.
How did you start getting the word out?
It's really word of mouth because I own my web address, but I don't have it up and running because I'm not that technical. So all of my offerings are in massage book, and then also via email, or they'll just find my number and send me a text.
Wow. So word of mouth is getting out
Word
there.
of mouth.
And you were saying something about the phone or email, that you do things remotely.
I do things remotely. And so again, it would be just sending me an email with a couple lines of information, not too much information, because then I'll go into the receptive state, get the information, email it back, and then we'll have the conversation for 20 to 30 minutes to go into more detail, because I'm sure the client will have questions about what comes through.
Ah, okay. So you have the long conversation after.
After. I don't want to know the stuff before,
Yeah.
because it could taint the information that I get, and then I don't know if it's my mind throwing information in, or is it really the channel message?
I find that with this work too. I don't want to know anything about my client before they get here. I feel that that's really important for me. Like, I want to know nothing except where you live and the basic stuff on the sheet, but I really don't even pay that much attention to it, because a lot of people will write like a million things, and sometimes what they write, the reason for the hypnosis session, doesn't even come up.
Doesn't go there. Yeah.
Because it'll it'll get it in the session, but really what's going to happen is what needs to happen.
And what I've learned is that there isn't the straight line. It's the sphere of information, and we're just together in this sphere, and we go wherever we
Yeah,
want to.
it's amazing.
And that's how my sessions are too. There's really no, I mean, to them it might come across as linear, but I don't see it as linear. I liken it to, you remember those oranges that you would put clove pieces in and then get some aroma? So once you put the clove in, it goes everywhere.
True.
And so that's kind of how the lifetimes are. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
And they sometimes overlap. Well, this clove might touch the other clove.
True.
Or you might have 2 or 3 in one section
That's
of
it.
the orange.
So this is a new thing for you. This is not something you've been doing forever and ever. Isn't that amazing? Did you have any spirituality before?
I did.
So tell me about that.
I had some fun stuff. Friend of mine, we'd meet at Bell Rock, but we would be in our own separate bedrooms, and then we would travel together.
How old were you?
In my 40s.
Really?
Yeah. So it didn't start until
Wow.
later.
That's amazing.
And then next day we'd talk to each other and talk about where we went and what we did, and we saw the same things.
So you've got the gift.
And then I'd go to work the next day. I'm like, oh, this is so boring. I want to go back and do this other stuff.
So now you're doing it.
Now I'm doing it.
Now you get to play all the time in the spiritual
Yes.
realm. Isn't that amazing?
I love it.
Yeah, I could never go back to living a normal life, corporate world. Even though I loved my work, I loved doing what I was doing before as I was doing it. But it took me a long time. Did you know about spiritual? Were you awake for a while? You know about all the spiritual stuff?
I think I've always been a bit awake, but haven't paid attention to it. And so the awareness came about just kind of by accident when I was repotting a plant, and the soil got on my hand and it started tingling.
Wow.
So I went next door to visit my neighbor, because I know that on Sundays she used to go do group sessions with a facilitator, and we'd get channeled messages and that kind of stuff. And we'd do what we call practices. So we'd go into meditation. He'd give us some instruction. We'd go into this meditation. We'd come out, we'd walk around, go back in. And so at the time, this was the beginning of working with consciousness, the populace, we called it, trying to raise the vibration of populace. And so at that time, it was more like warrior type, not battling, but there's a lot of darker energy that we were trying to work through and clear and heal.
And what happened with the soil?
So once it tingled, I went to Jules and she said, you want to come to session with us? I'm like, I'm not ready for that. And then I said, okay, I'm ready. So I started with one-on-one counseling, and then went to the group sessions. So the counseling was just kind of opening me up to learn more about self. And then in the group sessions, it was definitely the group dynamic where we were doing things as a group, a collective, to have an impact on the bigger collective.
Amazing. So it wasn't like a religion or anything. They would just have this little group.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was always working with source energy, not really any guide or other being. It was always source energy.
Do you work with a guide when you're working? Who do you work with?
I work with the Arcturians for the healing. There's always a group of us. I don't take the credit to be the sole interpreter. Well, I'm the sole interpreter, but not the sole facilitator. So there's always a group of us, and their energy helps me do what I need to do with the client and with their group of energy.
Wow.
So I am the one in the physical body. They can do the touching, but they can go through me to reach that.
Do you feel the energy? Do you feel the direction that you're being taken to, or is that natural for you?
It's just natural. I wouldn't say that there's, oh, go here.
Yeah.
It's just what I feel. My fingers are sensitive. So my fingers will feel it in the physical body. And so that's what needs the attention during the massage, is the physical body. That's when I get the messages about the spiritual, emotional, or mental body, and the past life stuff that's carried through into this. And even energy from their siblings, energy from their parents, energy from their husband or ex-husband, or outside influences in that regard that they have decided to carry on their own, that they don't need to carry anymore because it's dead weight.
So when you came to this property, I'm sure you received, some sort of messages from the land. Did you get any messages? Did you get any feelings from it?
So last night in the cabin, there was 2 different kinds of music that I heard. One was the Native American drumming, which was really rather intense and not so much in a pattern, but it had a pattern, but not a pattern. And then like singing and dancing music. So it was like both sides of, let's have fun and let's get to work.
Was it Native American?
The music wasn't, but the drumming was.
Wow. What an interesting combination.
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I thought maybe there was somebody with a loud car and their music going by, but the machine, the air conditioning unit was making enough noise you couldn't hear anything on the outside.
Exactly.
And so then when it would, kind of kick down a little bit, then this music would be really loud. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Couldn't make out words. But it just sounded like a party, like music and
so they were happy to see you.
Yeah.
They were happy to have you there.
Yeah.
As we were talking before the recording, is that they like to have people enjoy the land and have fun.
And so what's coming to me now is they knew I did not come alone. And so it was a party.
You came with your friends.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, I can't see anything, thank God. I really don't. I don't think I want to see. I remember one time I was in this place, and it was a spiritual place. And I was just looking at this vacant place to do my regressions there. And I walked out, and this woman was coming in the door, and she looked all around me, and she said, "Who are all these people? Oh my God." She said, like the whole room, like I had this entourage that was so big and different sizes. And she was like, I was just carrying like this.
It's fun. She could see that.
She could see it. I won't forget it, because her face was like in awe, like,
yeah.
And I didn't know what she was talking about. At that moment, it was like, I was looking around because I thought maybe
people came
in and were coming out. And she says, "No, I'm a medium. I could see." And I went, "Oh." And she goes, you have so many people around you.
That's fun.
So I guess that's my guides that kind of hang out with me whenever.
Yeah, we never travel alone.
No. I have a friend, Blair Styra. Do you know who he is?
I don't.
He channels Tabash. He's in New Zealand, and he and I talk all the time on WhatsApp. It's always video. And he called me once when I was getting the mail, and I was showing him the land, and I take him out to the dock. And on the way back, I'm talking to him about the land and how I'm learning to really appreciate nature and the stages of nature. Like I don't want my emotions to get involved with, there's a drought.
Yeah.
And it's flooding. I've learned to just accept nature, that there are stages of it, and you just go along with it. And that, this is the way, this is how God's world is, that everything is perfect. And I was telling him about how I go out to the dock and I talk to God all the time. And he says to me, he says, "There's a bunch of Native Americans walking with you." Because he says, and I said, "How many can you see?" And I pulled the phone away, and he says, "There's 8.
Wow.
Walking with you." And they're so excited because you're talking about God, you're talking about nature, you're talking about the land. he says they just all ran up to you the moment you started talking about this and got really excited. So
they're there.
there,
They're
and I'm
there.
sure that's why they were having a party for you. They figured you can
Just talk to them. They're just waiting for us
they're
to have a
waiting for you to
conversation.
have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you offer your, you know, I go everywhere because
Okay.
that's my ADD way. My conversations never go in one direction. How do people get a hold of you to get this work done?
So if they want a session, a massage therapy session, I'll give a link for that, and
Yeah.
then they can reach me via email for the remote. I call it not remote, distance. Call it distance healing.
Distance healing, and they
Yeah.
just do you take PayPal? What? How do you?
I've got PayPal, Venmo, and I also take credit card because I have a little card reader.
Okay. So then they'll say, Tracy, this is what I'm feeling. I've got an issue with this.
Yeah, but before they go into the issue, we'll just have a meet and greet email.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it, and then we'll set up a time for me to do my part and to respond.
Okay. So what do you want in the email?
Request for contact.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't put anything in there about what they.
Not the specific, just request for contact. I've got something going on that I would like you to help me heal.
Cool. Cool. All right. So thank you very much
right.
for that. And we'll see who's interested.
Well, thank you for inviting me to share.